Okay, my name's Alex. I was a teacher for 7 years, geography, history, taught in Canada and in Boston. I love education, and I love teachers, and I love children. And we all tried really hard at Teachers College. Well, some of us weren't told the right stuff at Teachers College, and that's what I'm here to talk today about. When I was at Teachers College, I thought the brain was important. I was doing my dissertation at Boston University, and some of my professors didn't think it was important. And I got kicked out and landed in sports psychology under a guy, Dr. Leonard Zykowski. Professor Zykowski is interested in creating brain and body measures that are predictive of athletic performance. My wife, Lindsay, is one of his top students, and we met, and since Lindsay's gone on to run she's the director of the Brain Laboratory for Performance at the United States Olympic Center, and we're using this optimal performance lens for children in schools. And yes, we talk about exercise, but we also talk about other lifestyle factors that affect performance on the field or behavioral or academic performance. So let's just get into this. Your takeaway, your advanced organizers for my teachers' friends are these. Number one, attention and memory consolidation are big parts of the learning process. Exercise promotes attention and brain growth. And second of all, memory is consolidated during sleep. And this is what we're going to talk about today. And second, technology both interferes with exercise and sleep, but it can also offer ideas and solutions to get more exercise and sleep. So like medicine, often the physician is a big reason why you get better. Well, teachers, how they use technology. This is the reason why technology can be very good in this new century, or it can be harmful. So this is what technology is showing us today to give us deeper insight into the brain. And let me just start by saying, multiple intelligence theory, it's a load. Left brain, right brain, brain gym. This stuff's all old stuff. We're looking at FM functional MRI. We're looking at diffuse tensor imaging. And something that I'm very, very into and excited about is something called EEG and ERP. ERP standing for Evoked Response Potential. This is a raw EEG score right here. And we can take a whole series, which is evoked potentials, and put it against a database. And I'll talk about this in a little bit. We'd like to look at students differently, not what's wrong with them. We're looking through the students in an optimal performance lens, not a remediation lens. I don't use labels. I don't care. Attention deficit disorder, ODD. That means nothing to me. This is all DSM stuff. I'm into hertz and brain activity and looking at the brain pre to post of interventions and seeing if we actually did make a change in an intervention. Understanding how a child really learns. We're looking for brain and body indices that can be predictive of rising the tide of all learning ships in the harbor. Not just one kid, all kids. Media use has exploded over the past decade, exploded. In the past 10 years, we've gone up an hour per day, I think this is a nice proxy for sedentary time. When people are sedentary, they're not moving. And when people are sedentary and watching TV or computer games or something hyper-arousing, it's affecting their sleep. And today's talk, I'd just like to talk about how exercise and sleep may be affecting your children's or your students' performance academically and behaviorally. Attention is the first step in learning. I don't know if many teachers understand how important attention is. The child you have in front of you, either acutely what has he done in the past 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, or longitudinally, what does his past 2, 3, 4 months look like? These affect the level of engagement, arousal, and attention a child can give, ranging from engaged and hyper-aroused to asleep. Could everybody just stand up for one moment, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. We're going to do a brain break. Izumi Tabata looked at this stuff in 1989. I don't know if you heard of HIIT or Tabata training. We're going to do exercise for 20 seconds and do nothing for 10 seconds. We're going to do this 3 or 4 times. And I see a lady with her arms crossed there, and I don't see a lot of smiles. We're going to show you how we change emotional regulation and mood, as well as attention. So here we go. Ready? If you can, let's just run on the spot starting now. Let's just go like that. Just go like that. That's easy. I just had knee surgery, so I'm okay. So let's just go like that, and we're going to go hard. And we're going to do this a number of times. Okay? And it's been a long day of sitting, listening to smarter people than me. So just keep going. Okay, and we're just going to stop for 10 seconds. Just 10 seconds, just 10 seconds. And this time, we're going to punch. If you want to punch beside the guy beside you, go ahead. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Just punch it, just punch it, just punch it, just punch it. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Okay. Okay, and now we're going to do jumping. I don't know, we don't know the reason why, but jumping resets the emotional network. Okay, so now we're just going to do some jumping. 20 seconds of jumping. Ready? Oh. And you see smiles start to come out, and learners are learners are better when they're happier, just like athletes are better. Professor Zykowski did this with runners and sprinters. He wanted to know why they are bouncing like this before races. Well, it turns out it makes the guys happier and smarter and faster. Okay, that's good. Okay, we can have a seat. Just a little bout of a movement. And I mentioned it before. Activity and elevated heart rates do 2 things. Right after, acutely, it changes the brain for about 45 minutes to an hour. It changes the attentional networks. It lets kids with ADHD look like kids without ADHD. That's from Matt Pontifex's study at Michigan State. Next slide. So this is what we just did. You got to know this guy's name. This is one of my buddies. He's the pioneer in this whole field. His name's Chuck Hillman. Chuck's a hockey dad. Chuck's done the VO2 max of 1,400 kids. Chuck's kid is the #1 VO2 max kid out there. That's how much Chuck believes in this science. These are the same kids, On the left, blue, this is EEG. Blue represents very little brain activity, green a little more, and red the most. On the left, that's what kids' brains look like when they're seated. That used to be a great day as a teacher. Oh, the kids were quiet. They didn't move, it was beautiful. However, on the right, that's what the kids look like with 60% of heart rate max for 20 minutes. This is early research. Oh, and I'll let you know that the kids on the right, the same kids, outperformed themselves in mathematics and reading comprehension after the walk compared to before. Spelling didn't get changed. Exercise doesn't change spelling. That's why we have spell check. So this is the acute benefit. Now, Chucky did this research 10 years ago. We now know that the higher levels of exercise are even better, not even better, but also very good for the brain, and even better, yes. When we exercise, now this is the longitudinal effects. When we exercise, we produce 15,000 brain cells in your hippocampal region. Your hippocampus is your memory center. These are, on the left, low-fit kids, and on the right, high-fit kids. Look at the difference in hippocampal volume. Why? Why the difference? Well, you make 15,000 new brain cells in your brain every time you exercise, and existing brain cells, through something called neuroplasticity, grow. So that's how we get these. So if I had to cut my head, the hippocampus is right in the middle. We're getting more brain cells and bigger brain cells into the memory center, and it wouldn't surprise you that fit kids beat non-fit kids in tests of memory. Well, let's get all of our kids to have the best hardware up here so they can remember what us teachers are teaching them. Brain-derived neurotropic factor is what makes brain cells grow. Neuroplasticity is the growing of brain cells. And this is a word you should know, Hebbian learning. That's what learning is. A brain cell is like a tree. When one tree branch grows out and touches another tree branch, that's when a kid knows 2 plus 2. If you're trying to teach them the capital of Uganda, you need some touching. Exercise lowers the threshold by which neurons will touch and grow. Why not take advantage of it? The technology piece that I really like, I'm not sponsored by Polar. Polar makes a product called the H7 where they can let the PE teacher see every heart rate in his room. It comes standard with a heart rate max of 200 beats per minute. I suggest that every kid should have a personalized heart rate max. That would mean that when they're exercising with the heart rate monitor, it's for them individually. Gone are the days where the people finishing first score 100% and the last people who are unfit score 0. Gone. Now we're just worried about you working against you, you working against you. We're equaling the playing field. This Polar H7 device, I think it's changing PE. And PE might be devalued because it's been done wrong. You can't tell what days kids have PE versus days that they don't. This is done on using pedometers about 3 years ago. PE is interested in teaching skill. Well, skill is all great, but it doesn't change neurochemistry, it doesn't change the electrical processing, and it certainly doesn't change the brain structures. This is something that I feel is very important. And I've seen it where it's put up on the wall so every kid can see their activity real time. I did a study for Specialized. The kids rode for 25 minutes every day for 4 weeks. I couldn't believe the changes. Here's a case study of one boy. This is EEG work. The top is the front, the back, and the ears. You can see the blue arrow at the top of that red spike. That spike is an area showing ADHD. The spike on the right of yellow is showing an area that is having a problem with socialization. On the right here, you have the HBI database. This is Kropotov's database. We can find out how many standard deviations away from the norm the kid's brain is at different sites. We can see the pre to post. The big spike is gone, 4 weeks. The big spike's gone, and the big yellow spike's gone, which is nice, but the mom of the boy reported he was easier at home, nicer. The teachers reported he was paying attention more and socializing better. His peers said that he was a nicer boy to make friends with. And the boy reported that he really likes school now. Just a case study. Second, sleep and learning. Sleep and learning, sleep and exercise are the two sides of the coin. We know that kids are not getting enough sleep these days. Kids under the age of 10 need about 10 hours. Between 10 and 20 need about 9 hours. We know over the past Since the 80s, the amount of sleep kids are getting is going down by about 90 minutes. Why do we sleep? It's the sleep pressure on the pineal gland. Go to sleep, you tell a teenager. That doesn't mean anything. Teenagers' sleep circadian rhythm shifts. They're driven to stay up all night. Technology may be making it harder for them to fall asleep. They're staying up at night texting. They're staying up at night because they have access to this hyper-arousing media. And we know that when rules are enforced, sleep time goes up. Here's an example of what happens when you add sleep time. This is from the United States military, and you can see that on the left, they're getting 6.5 hours per night of sleep. Same kids, same teachers, same curriculum, 2000, 2001, the GPAs were the same. The next year, somebody had a wise idea. They said, let's let them sleep 8. You can see that the lowest performer now is now performing higher than the highest performer. Same teacher, same kids, same curriculum. I believe, and I use, it's an expensive watch called the Philips Spectrum Plus. It measures activity and sleep and blue light spectrum. I'll tell you a story. This nice little boy goes home on a Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, comes back to school Monday. The teacher can't believe it. He punches a locker, loses control of his emotion, and gets suspended. The mom comes in the next day to say, I don't know how this could have happened. Well, I looked at the sleep data. And through the blue light spectrum, I could tell that on the Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night, the kid was playing video games until 6 in the morning. 6 in the morning. He wasn't sleeping. And he was doing something called social jet lag. It's like living in New York, but flying to Los Angeles for the weekend. It's horrible for learning outcomes. Horrible. But this is what many of our kids right across the continent are doing. Sleep monitoring and sleep feedback helps parents and helps kids understand why they're having a problem, either behaviorally or learning-wise. There's other answers. We can do stuff like night shift or flux for screens or blue blockers. If you see TV, computer, iPad 2 hours prior to sleep, 32% less melatonin is released in your brain because the blue light spectrum is telling your brain it's day, not night. Let's start doing something called sleep hygiene. Let's start putting kids to bed. Positive memories aren't downloaded into the hippocampal region until the last 2 hours of the 8.5-hour sleep cycle for adults. We're missing out on a lot of positive mood emotions. The brain and body during sleep, hey, they're either getting sleep or they're not. They're either having lots of behavior problems or being good boys and girls. Lastly, this is one of my mentors. He's the man. His name's Dr. Manfred Spitzer. He is the man. His name's Dr. Manfred Spitzer. So he's from Germany. The Germans really care about mathematics, engineering, and information. He's worried that iPad swipes and computers and keyboards are messing with German kids' ability to learn science and mathematics. You see, there's something in neuroscience called homunculus. It's a representation of how your nerves are hooked up across the sensory motor cortex. Doing Lego, playing dinky cars, doing stuff with your hands and your feet and movement and activity, it builds neural networks. iPad swipes and computer keyboards do not build complex neural networks. See, it's not really what you teach the kids in school. It's that you teach them how to learn. It's that you teach them in a manner that creates complex neural networks suitable for learning in the future. I was never on a computer until I was 23 years old. I do computer brain modeling now. This is what I'm talking about. Let's build brains that really are suited to learn. That's it. Thank you very much, and I really appreciate it.